Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. It's Caitlin, your geeky girlfriend. We're going to try something new today. I have this new app, I had it on my other device, new to this phone, and I'm playing around with it a little bit, but we're going to try something new today. It is Christmas. We've got our Clark Griswold Christmas shirt on. Yes, we are still pregnant, so I'm just trying to catch up on some content before we're not pregnant anymore and I take some time off of content recording. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm actually going to do my year-in review books. I'm going to scroll down to the beginning of our list here. This is in my Goodreads. We're going to start with the first book that I read in 2025. And we're going to go all the way through all of the books that I've read up until this point. So currently I am working my way through 2 books, a nonfiction and a fiction. We do still have some days left of the year, but since I'm getting ready to go to the hospital any day now, I wanted to film this video and get it uploaded with all of the books that I've read so far. So there's a chance that my actual Goodreads will have more books in it because it's only the 25th. We have a full week left of the year. And I am taking like 3 books with me to the hospital for all of the postpartum recovery time. So we're going to go through and we're going to do a yes, no, maybe this year. So last year I gave a review. I'm going to do a small review. You guys will see the star ratings on here because this is my actual Goodreads with the star ratings that I gave. And then we're just going to do a yes, no, maybe with a small plot description of all of the books that I've read this year. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to keep a running total and tally for you guys of my counts for the year. And again, this is just my year in review. Everybody's is different. I have not yet met my reading challenge for the year. I didn't meet any of my reading challenges this year other than to read books that I already own and to make it through at least one cycle of a rainbow read, which is where you read one book of every spine of every color of the rainbow. So starting with red, going through, we made it through 2 cycles. And so we're on cycle number 3 of that challenge. I was doing an A to Z challenge that hasn't been finished yet and was doing my Goodreads challenge. So we're going to get into this video. If you like this video and if you like how I did this video, please let me know down below because I'm going to do a movie review video similar. So I'm kind of trying out this little like whatever you would want to call this here. So let's get into it so this video doesn't run super long. So again, this is directly from my Goodreads. I am Caitlin M, your geeky girlfriend, the same as my Instagram username on Goodreads. Okay, so starting off, book number 1 for 2025 was Wicked by Gregory Maguire. I gave this book a 2-star. I would say this one is a maybe, a very steadfast maybe. And I have full reviews of all of these books here on my YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. But this one for me is definitely a maybe. I think that if you really, really like Wicked, I feel like you will power through this book because you want to do all of the things related to Wicked. However, as a book, it was not, definitely not my favorite. It is very, sorry, let me get back to where we were. My phone did something weird. Again, we're playing around with this technology here. It was way more sexual than I was expecting. It's a full-on fantasy book, so lots of world building, lots of different creatures, things like that. Lots of things to consider when reading this book. This book is definitely not appropriate for children. So keep all of that in mind. Like I said, I gave it a 2-star. I would definitely not read this book again. So for me, it's a very hard maybe. I think some people loved it a lot more than I did. I read it because I had just seen the movie, wanted to really dive more into this phenomenon that we're in right now. And I don't even know if I will read the other titles that he's done, to be honest. Moving on, book number 2, Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. You'll see I also gave this one 2 stars. People say that this is one of the funniest books of 2025. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the humor for me like my sense of humor and Eleanor's sense of humor just don't align. So this one for me is also a maybe. I think the humor in it just wasn't for me, but for other people have loved it. So for me, it's a maybe. Moving on, book number 3, Love Theoretically, yes, and also the other 2 in this collective, The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. That is the order: Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, Love Theoretically. I personally liked Love on the Brain the best, but this one is still definitely a yes. You can read them in any order. Love Ali Hazelwood. I give this one a 4-star. I don't remember exactly why now, but anyway, this one's a yes for me. Book number 4 was Iron Flame, the sequel to Fourth Wing. I gave this one a yes. Now, this is a hot take because a lot of people are saying maybe or no to this one. And a lot of people who really, really liked Iron Flame did not like Onyx Storm. You'll notice that I have not read Onyx Storm yet. It is nowhere on the list. So for me, Iron Flame was a yes. I read it so fast, so quickly, and this is a large book. And that's part of the reason why I gave it a 5-star. But the ending of this book alone could cause some people to say maybe or no. So keep that in mind. Again, I have a full review of all these books on my YouTube channel, but for me, Iron Flame is a yes. Actually, I think it and Fourth Wing together are both yeses, but you'll find way different opinions everywhere else on the internet. The next one, Assistant to the Villain. This is the first in the Villain franchise. There have now been 2 other books released, The Apprentice and The Accomplice to the Villain. This is the first one by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I'm going to give this one a maybe. I liked this one. You'll see I gave it 3 stars. It's very cute, but slow burn. Very slow burn. There is some tension and like some flirtation, but it's very, very slow burn. And for me, I think it's a little bit too slow. So that's why for me, I would give this one a maybe. But other people really like the slow burn thing. But for me, this one's a maybe. Tools of Engagement, I'm going to say yes, but this is another like 3-part collective. And when I say collective, I mean they all take place like the same time with the similar characters. So this is actually the 3rd in a little Hot and Hammered series by Tessa Bailey. The first one is Fix Her Up, which is Georgie and Tyler's story. The second one is Love Her or Lose Her, and that one is Rosie and Dominic's story, and that one is the best in the series. So I did like this one. This is Wes and Bethany's story, but I similarly with Love Theoretically, it wasn't my favorite. It was not my favorite in the 3 parts in the 3-book collection, but I would still give it a yes. I'm new to Tessa, but I think that this little series is fun and it's cute and it's rompy. And I'm looking forward to reading more Tessa in 2026. But I would say this one is a yes. It is spicy, but note that this one was not my favorite in the 3 little book series. Next book, which I believe is book number 3, 4, 5. 7. Book number 7 was After by Anna Todd. They have made a movie about this. There are lots of books in this series. This is another maybe for me. It was very long, but the chapters are really short, so it doesn't, like, the pace, I guess, is okay. It's also very, very spicy. I wouldn't say very, very spicy. I would say it has spice. You'll see that I gave it 2 stars. Like I said, for me, it's a maybe. I just feel like the relationship in this book is very toxic. So if that's your thing, and then you might be okay. But I know that that's a reason why a lot of people give this one a no, is because of the toxicity. But there are several other books. So, and I keep looking at some of the other books, like at thrift stores and stuff, because I'm like, oh, do I want to keep going? I don't know. I can't decide. So this is one that I feel like could go either way. I'm giving it a maybe, and you'll see that that's pretty much the theme for most of these. Moving on, The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I would say yes to this one. I liked this one. This is one of her newer ones. I gave it a 3. I would say yes to this. Now, when we look at the next book, which is The Perfect Son, also by Freida McFadden, it's important to note that I read both of these books in one day. And I did rate The Perfect Son a little bit higher than The Boyfriend, but I still liked them. Like, I think I would say yes to both The Boyfriend and The Perfect Son. I would probably say yes to most of Freida's stuff, though, honestly. Is she like kind of a cliche thriller writer? Yes, but I also feel like you know what you're getting into, and it's a pretty, like, I don't want to say predictable, but in terms of what she writes and some of the twists and things, like, I would say, yeah, it's kind of predictable almost. She's a predictable writer. Like, you know what to expect from her and her characters and her writing. I would give The Boyfriend a yes. I would also give The Perfect Son a yes. I can't really give any more details in that. I liked them both. I thought that they were both fine. Still don't compare to The Teacher or The Housemaid is Watching, in my opinion, or The Housemaid's Secret. Sorry, the second one. Both those are like my 2 favorites of hers, but I would give both of these a yes as well. And then moving on, book number 10. This is where we started the Rainbow Reading Challenge. And you'll notice that this started in March of 2025. So had I started it from January, we might have gotten a couple more books in, but that's okay. A lot of the ones that we've done so far were either book club books or library books, and then I decided that I needed to cut my physical TBR down. So the next one is our first nonfiction book of the year, A Uterus is a Feature, Not a Bug, The Working Woman's Guide to Overthrowing the Patriarchy. I read this book and finished it, like, we were still on our fertility journey during this time, so this was more of an informational read for me. It was not what I was expecting. I would say maybe. I talk more about that in my review of it over on YouTube. I would say maybe. There were things that I liked, things that I didn't, but other people may love it. So as you can see, we have sort of a theme. We haven't yet hit a no yet, though, so that's good. But yeah. Next one is After I Do, Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is an absolute yes. I absolutely loved this book. I was so enthralled in this story. I love the marriage makeover, themes. I love when, like, a marriage is struggling and the characters work together to fix it. I absolutely love that. So this one for me is an absolute yes. And if you haven't read this one, add it to your list. I picked up another Taylor Jenkins Reid book from the library the other day. Really excited. I think she's a really strong author. And if you haven't yet read anything of hers, go ahead and add it to your 2026 TBR. Some, Evelyn Hugo, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and the Six, Carrie Soto is back. She's written a lot of novels, and this one for me, I actually think I liked this one a little bit better than Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I did give Seven Husbands 5 stars when I read it. Now, looking back, Evelyn Hugo probably should have gotten a 4, but this one, After I Do, so good, so good. Moving on to The Beach Club by Elin Hilderbrand. Now, this was, I think, my second Elin Hilderbrand book. I like Elin Hilderbrand. She's fine. This one I gave 2 stars, though. I just felt like it moved kind of slow. I felt like some of the characters' endings and resolutions were not enough for me. I liked the setting and I liked the atmosphere of the book, but I just felt like the characters their storylines weren't fully resolved. So for me, I would still give this one a maybe, though. It does have that gossipy, like, summer read vibe. So I think in the right mood and in the right mindset, it could be a winner. I'm still going to give it a maybe. I wouldn't say don't read it, but it wouldn't probably be my first choice. But on the flip side, like, my mom highly recommended this one. So I think age, previous reading history, all of that would play in to how you feel about this one, which is why it goes staunchly in the maybe. All right, The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This is a 1000% yes. I absolutely love this. This book was so cute. It gives so high school vibes by Taylor Swift. Like, I Absolutely love it. We've got a best friends to lovers situation. We've got a fake dating sort of kind of situation. I loved everything about this book. Looking forward to reading more Sarah Adams in 2026. This one is an absolute yes. So if you're playing along at home, so far our yeses for the year are Love Theoretically, Iron Flame, The Cheat Sheet, and After I Do. I think those are the only ones out of like 12 books that have been a yes. I would say The Perfect Son and The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. Also Tools of Engagement. So I guess we have more yeses than I thought. We're at like 7 out of 12, so that's not terrible. And the rest have been maybes. We haven't had a single no yet. The next one is November 9th by Colleen Hoover. I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but this one is also a maybe for me. I feel like depending on where you start in the coho specter of things really determines how you feel about her as an author. And for me, my first Colleen Hoover book was Verity, and nothing has compared to that. And I know that that is a psychological thriller. So in terms of genre and writing style, it just is completely different. But still, I just have not yet found a Colleen Hoover book that has hit the same as Verity. And I'm still trying. I still pick them up. I still give them a read. I gave this one a 2-star. Like I said, if you are new to Colleen Hoover and you want something that's a little bit less of the spicy side, a little bit less dramatic, this one might be a good place to start. So I'm not going to give it a no. I would give this one another very strong maybe. I just feel like depending on when you're reading it, like how many other Colleen Hoover books you've read, this one is a little bit shorter, but also this one is almost exactly the same book as Just One Day by Gail Forman, which I have already read. So for me, this one was very reminiscent of that. And that was why I think I gave it 2 stars, because I just felt like I was reading the same book again, and I just couldn't really connect with this book. But I did finish it, so for that, it gets a maybe. The next one is The List. This is a young adult book. This is the first young adult book on our list this year, and this is by Shobin Vivian. Probably a maybe. Like, I don't have strong feelings either way. I gave it 3 stars. It was a pretty solid YA book, but could you skip it? Yeah. But is it a nice, easy, palate cleansing read? Also, yeah. So this one also goes strongly in the maybes. And I know I'm giving like some reviews of some not of others. But again, I have full reviews over on my YouTube channel of all of these books, and each book has its own video. So just go check them out if you're interested. The next one is The A-List by Zoe Dean. This is an entire series. I would say as a starter book, this is good. Again, though, is it a series that like should be a must read? No. But is it gossipy? Yes. Summer vibes? Yes. Very Gossip Girl. It's Hollywood Hills, like the OC, all that kind of stuff. So again, this one is also a maybe, just kind of depending on your genre and your vibe. This is also YA, but it has a little bit more adult theming and language. So more at the upper high school, college read, versus The List is a little bit more high school. So again, I'm going to say maybe. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I think I'm going to say this is a yes. I think in terms of historical fiction, I think it's very strongly written. I think this is a very powerful book. I do think that this one should be on a must-read list for everybody. Was it the best book that I've ever read? No. Did it have slow parts? Yes. But I just feel that this is one that everybody should read at some point. It just really gives a different perspective on World War II. And it's kind of Schindler's List-y if you've seen that movie. And so I actually am going to give this one a yes, despite it only got a 3-star rating for me. But I feel that it should be one that everybody reads. The next one was 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler. I also really, really enjoyed this book, and I'm going to give this one a yes. It was short, it was sweet, it was to the point. The whole book literally takes place over 3 days, so the pacing is good. It was one of my favorite book club books this year, so I am going to say this one's a yes. Great for the summer, and I really enjoyed this one. So there's another yes. We're at like 8 out of 14-ish. Next one is 5 Survive. This is a YA thriller by Holly Jackson. This one is a maybe for me. I really despised some of the characters in this book, and I did enjoy the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Holly Jackson has another book out right now, Not Quite Dead Yet, that I've heard good things about. I would say this one gets a maybe because if you are a completist like me who likes to read everything that an author has done, then you might read it. But this one is pretty predictable, and I did not love some of the characters. So I would say it's a maybe. Story of a Girl, also maybe. This is another YA. And it was just okay. You see, I gave it 2 stars. Nothing really stands out. It did win some awards. So if you're looking for like an award-winning book, something like that, it's very short, pretty fast-paced in terms of the chapter sizing and things, but I don't really have any strong feelings towards it. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't read it. So like I can't justify giving it a no, but I'm also like you could skip it, but you could also read it. And a lot of these books are older, so that's the other reason why I don't have strong feelings. Okay, now we're getting into some pretty strong opinion ones. So, The Balance, My Year's Coaching, Simone Biles. This one is a yes. I gave it 5 stars. And if you've been noticing, we have hardly had any 5-star reads this year. So far, we've had The Balance, The Cheat Sheet, and Iron Flame. Those are the only books that have had 5-star ratings this year out of like 19 or 20 books at this point. So I had a very low star reading list this year. But The Balance is our second nonfiction book. If you know anything about gymnastics, anything about Simone Biles, this one is a yes. If you want to know more about gymnastics or Simone Biles, also a yes. And I just really liked Amy's perspective. So this one for me was a yes. Now, I was a gymnast. I am a former gymnast. I judge gymnastics. So gymnastics is a very big part of my life. So with that being said, if gymnastics is not your thing, then this might be a maybe for you. But moving on, The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers. I think this is another maybe, honestly, because there were things that I liked, and then there were things that I completely did not like. And the character motivations were big for me in this one. So not that I think it's bad, but do I think you could maybe skip it? Yes. So it's not a no, but it's not like a, oh my gosh, yes, hands down. So this one is also maybe. This is a mystery thriller. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is the next one. This was Book of the Year in 2023. And I can see why it was Book of the Year in 2023. I would probably say yes. Like, I would be in between maybe and yes. This book had a slower pace for me. Diverse characters, yes. You need to have some knowledge of video games, in my opinion, to really get into this book, to really understand like what the characters are doing. So this one for me could go between maybe or yes, but I did end up liking it overall, but as I was reading it, I was very much on the maybe side. So I feel like this one is like teetering in between maybe and yes. So do with that what you will. Watch my full review because, yeah. All right, we get another 5-star book. This one was actually written by a friend of mine, Thinking of You, a memoir of a girl's crush, a teacher's grooming, a forbidden love. I give this one a yes. Number one, it's written by a friend of mine. That's number one. But in an unbiased sense, I do think it's a very poignant narrative about high school teachers, their relationships with students, the boundaries that need to be set. I think it's a good guide for parents, a good guide for someone who's been through this situation, good guide for teen girls, young girls about things to look for, signs, how to determine if something is inappropriate or not. I would give this one a yes. You can find this on Amazon. I did give this one 5 stars. Next, The Show Must Go On, a novel also written by a friend of mine. This is a young adult thriller, mystery, suspense. If you like any of those genres, I would say yes. This is very much young adult, very appropriate for younger readers. And this author and I are very good friends, and so I would say yes to support her, but also I have liked all of her books, and I gave this one 4 stars. So I would say that this one is a yes. The Summer Girl by Jenny Blackhurst, I probably would say maybe, only because one of the other books that I read after this one, I definitely would give a yes, and they were kind of similar. So I would say this one is a maybe. And just because I had some, I gave it 4 stars, but there were some things that I did not like about it. And I think I would give it a maybe. I mean, it was written well, but I don't feel strongly about oh my gosh, yes. So I'm going to say maybe on that one. Problematic Summer Romance. I would probably say yes to this. I gave it 4 stars. I love Ali Hazelwood. This is a forced proximity type of situation, which I love. There is an age gap here. Kind of grumpy sunshine. There's a little bit of that going on. So lots of fun tropes. I love the setting of this book. Very summer. Lots of summer vibes. I definitely would say yes. Definitely would say read it in the summer because it just matches the vibes. And this book makes me want to travel to Italy, and that's never been something on my list. So I would give this one a yes. So that's 2 Ali Hazelwoods this year that got yeses. Obviously, I'm a fan. Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. This one's hard. I teeter between maybe and no for this one. This one just was so slow paced for me. It was so slow, and the whole book actually takes place in reverse. So the story is being told from the end of a relationship and then going backwards to the beginning. And that is kind of confusing at first, but also I think the pacing is what did it for me. And I teeter between maybe and no. More on the no side, I think. This is not a book that I would go out and recommend to other people. And that's kind of how I know that it needs to be on the no side. So that's our first no. And we only have a few books left. We have maybe 10 books left. So we're getting to the end. How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. This one is a yes. Over The Summer Girl by Jenny Blackhurst for sure. This one, I loved the sleuthing of it. I loved the different perspectives. I loved how the reader kind of gets clues throughout the book. The ending was unexpected. But then I just needed a little bit more from the ending to give it 5 stars. So this one was just shy of 5 stars for me. But I thought this was really fun and I really enjoyed this one. So for me, this one gets a yes. The Truth is a Lie, another 5-star read. This one gets a yes. I absolutely loved everything about this book. It's twisty, it's turny, and I absolutely loved it. So this is a yes. Sharon Wright is the author. It's her second or third novel, and I love it. She used to be a teacher, so that's great. The Pregnancy Countdown, I would say maybe. There isn't much different information in this one that there's not in What to Expect When You're Expecting, but you get a lot more candid mom advice, and I actually didn't love that. So for me, this is a maybe, but it is our 4th nonfiction book of the year, if you've been counting with us, playing along. Into a Wicked World. This is a no for me. And I have a very strongly worded review on my YouTube channel about this. I gave this a 1. I almost did not finish this book. I felt it was boring, took way too long to get to the action of the story. And then when there was action, the action was killed by world building. I wanted to be done with this book like 3 weeks sooner than I was, and I should have just DNF'd it, but I didn't because I kept thinking that it was going to get better, and then it just never did. So this one is a no. I would skip it. Into a Wicked World. Skip it. Skip it. Don't waste your time. I literally wasted like 3 weeks on that book. What to expect when you're expecting? I would say yes, but other people are very strongly no. So for that, I might give it a maybe. I would say anything that you read in any pregnancy book, take with a grain of salt, because always, always, always trust your doctor. And you should never be getting all of your medical advice from a book that's written by someone who does not have a medical license. But I did get a lot of useful information and a lot of useful tips out of this book. And even now, after I finished the book, I have gone back to the index like 2 or 3 times, and I intend to keep it on my shelf as a resource moving forward. I do intend to read What to Expect the first year. So for me, this book is a yes. I think it's a must read for anyone who is expecting, but know that I also read What to Eat Before You're, What to Expect Before You're Expecting. I read that one as well. And so for me, both of those are yeses, just because I am a lifelong learner and I love to learn new information. But know that you will read a lot of negative reviews about this one. So again, just take everything with a grain of salt. All right, now we're getting into the most recent ones, ending the year out with a strong 5-star read, The December Market. Absolutely yes. This is a Hallmark movie and a book. Absolutely loved it. And I'm not even a Hallmark Christmas movie person. This was my first holiday, like seasonal book. And I loved everything about it. I loved the female lead character. I loved the male lead character. My only critique was that both of these characters have a decent amount of trauma in their past. And the trauma was kind of like sprinkled in throughout. And I almost wish it was just dumped on us in the beginning. To show kind of that development over time, but it was just like sprinkled like breadcrumbs. Some people prefer that. It's not a preference of mine, but I still ended up giving the book 5 stars, and this one is an absolute yes. So cute. And this is a whole 3-part series called the Shelter Springs something series, and I intend to read the other ones. And Rayanne Thane is the author, and she has written a lot of little books like this, and so I'm definitely looking forward to reading some more. And then last but not least here in this video is Let It Snow. This is a 3 short stories written by different authors, Maureen Johnson, John Green, and Lauren Miracle, and they all come together at the end to, like, it's all about different characters, but they all end up wrapping up together in the end in one singular event. So that was kind of cool. This is similar to like last year Amazon Prime did like a holiday romance little collection. Tessa Bailey wrote one, Ali Hazelwood wrote one, a couple of different authors, and it was all on Kindle Unlimited. This is similar to that, but young adult. And so very low spice, very little language, great for young adult readers. I think they made like a Netflix movie about this, and it was all cute. More wintry than Christmas, but still perfect for the holiday season and the winter. Okay, that is everything that I have read and finished this year. I'll go ahead and show you guys what I'm currently reading. I am currently reading All the Feels by Olivia Dade. This is the second in the Spoiler Alert series. The books are kind of a collective. They tell about different characters, but all around the same kind of franchise, and they're all kind of based around this like celebrity type romance. We're not quite 100 pages into that one. And then we're also reading Secrets of the Baby Whisperer by Tracy Hogg. And I have a couple of books from the library as well. So we're hoping to get one, if not both of those 2 books done by the end of next week or by December 31st so that we can mark them off, add them to the Goodreads challenge, and that'll give me about 40 books for the year. My goal was 48. I did not meet my nonfiction quota this year because What to Expect When You're Expecting took me a long time. But overall, I read some really strong books this year, but as I was saying, I had a lot of lower star rated books this year. As of right now, my Storygraph average is like 3.76 stars. we had a lot of 2 and 3-star books this year. A couple of 4 stars, a couple of 5 stars sprinkled in. And I did a video, I think last year, where I rated and ranked all of my 5-star books. We're going to have to do that again here maybe next summer or something and add the new ones in. But for now, this is where we're at. And that's my take on everything that I've read this year. Yes, no, maybe edition. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that we liked this, like, you know, with the books in the background and all that. I liked it. Hope you guys did too. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these. Some of you have been commenting your thoughts, and that's great. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my ratings and reviews. Overall, we didn't have too many no's this year, which is good. And I didn't have anything that I did not finish this year, which was a personal goal of mine. I've been trying to be better about making a firm decision about DNFing something early on and then just committing to that. And we didn't have any of those. I was able to power through. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And let me know in the comments which ones you agree or disagree with. And stay tuned for all of our reads in 2026. And we've been doing a lot of reading over the past couple of days as we've been sitting, just kind of waiting for baby girl to decide if she wants to join us or not. Here on the outside. So we've been doing a lot of reading, which is great. I love reading. I love Christmas break. It helps me catch up on my reading. So I am so thankful for the downtime. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.